Today's lesson is Trends in Life Expectancy. Hi, everybody. My name is Roger.
Hello, I'm Kiki.
It's April right now. May is just around the corner and spring is here. And, of course, we're living longer and longer. So today we're going to talk about trends in life expectancy. People around the world are living longer and longer.
And the word expectancy basically just means to think or to hope that something will happen, something good will happen, and you're expecting something, okay? So life expectancy is basically how long we expect that life will be for a living thing, all right? So we know that nowadays, as modern medicine gets better, people's life expectancies are actually extending, right?
Yeah, people are living longer and longer. That's great. Of course, nobody wants to die before they're supposed to, but that also might bring up some problems with overpopulation or underpopulation. Of course, if we have so many old people around and so few young people to take care of them, that could be a problem, but that's a subject for another day. We are talking about trends in life expectancy, so let's find out what this is all about. Let's introduce this topic to you right now by listening to the first part.
Trends in life expectancy. How do you measure the overall health of a nation? One way is to assess the life expectancy of its people. This measure captures the average age of death for a particular population. Due to advancements in medicine, hygiene, and education, global life expectancy has increased dramatically over the last century. In fact, since 1950 alone, life expectancy around the world has grown from 46.5 to 71.0 years.
大家好，首先我们看到形容词 overall， 它的意思是总的或是总体的。例如 A few students did poorly on the exam, but the overall results for the class were good. 有几个学生考试表现不佳，但班上整体成绩还不错。又或者说 It's amazing what a good night of sleep can do for your overall peace of mind. 惊人的是，有一晚良好的睡眠可以让你内心全面的平静。接下来介绍动词 assess， 它的意思是评估、评价或是估价。例如 Brian got out of his car to assess the damage from the accident. Brian 下车评估事故造成的损伤。再举一个例子 An expert is assessing the financial situation of the company. 一名专家正在评估这家公司的财务状况。再来介绍名词 advancement， 意思是发展、进展，也可以是提升或是晋升的意思。例如 The newest model of this phone is an advancement over the past ones. 这只手机的最新款比前面几款大有进步。又或者说 Employee advancement is usually determined by seniority and positive performance reviews. 员工的晋升通常由年资和正面绩效审核决定。下一个我们看到 hygiene， 这个名词有卫生的意思。例如 Children need to be taught the importance of good hygiene at an early age. 在孩子还小时，有必要教导他们好的卫生习惯是很重要的。或是 Washing hair regularly is important for proper hygiene. 定期洗头对良好的卫生习惯而言很重要。
All right, so how do you measure the overall health of a nation? So how do you decide if this nation or this country is healthy, the overall health of a nation? Overall basically is a way to describe when you're taking everything into account or you're taking this whole group of thing into consideration. And in this case, we're talking about all of the health of a nation. So how do we think about or how do we measure if a country is healthy, a nation and all its people are healthy?
Right. How do you measure the complete health of a nation or the overall health of a nation? Well, one way is to assess the life expectancy of its people. So this is one way that you can measure the overall health of a country or of a nation. you need to assess the life expectancy of its people. Now, if you assess something, you basically look at all the information and you make some conclusions about that thing. Before you invest in the stock market, for example, you need to assess which stocks are profitable, which ones will lose money. You need to make an assessment, you could say. And so here, of course, you need to assess the overall health of a country, and one way to do that is to look at the life expectancy. I did want to say that sometimes you'll also hear the term lifespan. Your lifespan is how long you actually live. Your life expectancy is how much you're supposed to live if you don't have accidents like getting run over by a large bus, or someone tries to poison you, or you get attacked by a big flock of seagulls or something like that. And so here we're talking about life expectancy, how long you're supposed to live.
This measure captures the average age of death for a particular population. So this measure, or this way of doing something, and in this case, it is to assess the life expectancy of a group of people. So this measure, or this way of calculating, it captures the average age of death for a particular population. So we're looking at a group of people and their numbers. A population, of course, is a number of people or a number of things. So you can also talk about the population of pandas are coming back because of those panda sanctuaries. Okay. Now we're talking about the average age. So what you'll do is look at the numbers of the population, and then you'll see how old are people passing away. How old are they when they're dying? And then you'll calculate the average age. So for example, let's say you have 10% of people dying at age 98, another 10% of people dying at age 89, and so forth. And then you'll add it all up and then find the average age. And that would be the average life expectancy of a population.
Right, so you just take all the different ages, you add them together, and you divide by the number of figures or the number of subjects that went into that final calculation, and you get your average. And that's how you measure life expectancy. Now, here in the second paragraph, it says, due to advancements in medicine, hygiene, and education, global life expectancy has increased dramatically over the last century. So here we've got due to. That means because of, due to advancements in medicine, hygiene, and education. So here, advancements just means things have improved. They've gotten rid of the old way of doing things, and they've got some new ways of doing things. We've got advancements in medicine. We've got new kinds of drugs and medications that can handle diseases where we didn't before. If you got maybe a scratch or something like that, you could actually die of that, but now we've got antibiotics and things like that that can handle that problem. And you don't have to die. So we've got advancements in medicine and also advancements in hygiene. Hygiene just refers to how clean things are, right?
That's right. And hygiene is also talking about the conditions or the different practices people are doing to maintain the overall environment, the cleanliness of an environment, because they want to prevent diseases and things like that. So personal hygiene is very important. So we shower every day. Some people shower twice a day because they really care about their personal hygiene. So we know that due to advancements in medicine and hygiene and education as well. So learning more about different things to keep us healthy, or to know how to eat better, or to exercise more. Learning more about how to stay healthy is also a part of the advancement in education. So understanding how we can live healthier lives. And this has allowed the global life expectancy to increase dramatically over the last century, or over the last 100 years. Everyone is getting better at the way they live their life, and they are able to live longer now.
Yep, we've got better medicine, we've got better hygiene, we've got better education, and because of these different factors, global life expectancy has increased to a large degree over the last 100 years. Now, the next sentence says, in fact, to tell you the truth, since 1950 alone, life expectancy around the world has grown from 46.5 years to 71.0 years. So this is over the last, about 70-some years, ever since 1950. Life expectancy around the world in countries all over the world, in Asia, Africa, South America, North America, etc., life expectancy has increased, or it has grown from a low in 1950 of 46.5 years to the present number, which is 71.0 years. So that's good. It seems like people are almost living twice as long as they did before.
Okay, that's good to hear. So that comes to the end of part 1. Let's find out more in part 2 after we listen to it.
Perhaps more significantly, the life expectancy gap between the highly developed regions and the rest of the world has narrowed. This trend is most evident in the case of Asia. As shown in the graph below, life expectancy in Asia over the half-century starting in 1950 increased by over 25 years. This increase has reduced the difference in life expectancy between Asia on the one hand and the Western regions on the other hand, from more than 20 years to less than 10 years. Furthermore, it is estimated that life expectancy in Asia will reach 80 years by 2050, which will put it on par with the Western world.
第二部分我们来看到片语 on the other hand， 意思是另一方面。我们可以说 Alice is very smart. On the other hand, she's a bit proud. Alice 非常聪明，但另一方面她有点自负。再举一个例子 Jack wants a pet dog on the one hand, but he's afraid he may not have the time to take care of it on the other hand. 一方面 Jack 想要养只宠物狗，但另一方面他担心自己可能没有时间照顾它。接着一样是片语 on par with somebody 或是 on par with something， 表示与点点点位于同样水准或是不分轩轾。例如The artwork Eric does is on par with some of the greatest oil painters of all time. Eric 的艺术作品与史上一些油画大师的作品不分轩轾。或者 The total sales of that startup company are on par with its competitor. 那间新创公司的总销售额与其竞争对手不分上下。
Okay, it's time for us now to discuss the second part of our lesson for today. And here it says, perhaps more significantly or more profound, more important, the life expectancy gap between the highly developed regions and the rest of the world has narrowed. So we've got a gap, we've got a separation between the highly developed world and the third world, or undeveloped nations. And of course, you can expect that advanced nations such as Western countries and Japan and places like that, the people in those countries are going to live a long time. And you might think, well, poorer countries like in various other regions of the world, you won't expect them to live too long because they have bad hygiene and they're not as advanced. So you might think that there's a big gap between those places, but that gap has actually gotten closer together. It's gotten narrower. So people in advanced countries and in underdeveloped countries will live roughly about the same amount of time.
That's right. This trend is most evident in the case of Asia. So this trend is most obvious in the case of Asia. So evident basically is an adjective and it means to be clearly seen or understood or is obvious. So this trend of getting closer to the highly developed regions, having our life expectancy go higher or you can live longer, it has gotten closer to more developed countries, and it is most obvious in Asia that this has happened. As shown in the graph below, so you can see or you can refer to the graph that is in this article, you can see life expectancy in Asia over the half century starting in 1950 increased by over 25 years.
So you can expect to live longer now if you're born in countries like Bangladesh or Pakistan or places like that, because these are countries in Asia, and their life expectancy has increased over the last 50-some years.
Okay, so you can can expect to live longer now in those countries. This increase has reduced the difference in life expectancy between Asia on the one hand and the Western regions on the other hand, from more than 20 years to less than 10 years.
Right, so we're comparing two things here. So if you're doing that, you can use this pattern on the one hand or on the other hand. So for example, you may be considering where to go to university. Well, I think I would like to go to Purdue University. On the one hand, it's got a great program, and some of my friends are there. But on the other hand, it's quite far away from where I live, and it's also quite expensive. So you're comparing two different things here. So yes, we're talking about comparing life expectancy in Asia and the Western regions. And that gap has closed from more than 20 years to less than 10 years now. That's better.
Furthermore, it is estimated that life expectancy in Asia will reach 80 years by 2050, which will put it on par with the Western world. Okay, so furthermore, or in addition to that, it is estimated that life expectancy in Asia will reach 80 years by 2050. So it is estimated. So the word estimated basically is the rough calculation or an approximate calculation. So I guess scientists or people that study these population growth and things like that, they're looking at graphs and they're looking at numbers and they can guess and they can project that the number for people in Asia, their life expectancy will hopefully reach 80 years. So most people will live until 80 years old by the year 2050. So this will put it on par or put Asia on par with the Western world. What is on par with, Roger?
Pretty much the same, very close to in number or range or whatever. And of course, par is often used in golf. Okay, if you're shooting par, you're shooting the number of strokes that you're supposed to shoot for a given hole or for a different course. But here on par with just means it's pretty much the same as the Western world. That is their estimate. Here we're using the word estimate as a verb, estimate. This is how they're estimating life expectancy. But again, the noun form is an estimate. Can you give me an estimate as to how much it's going to cost to repair my car? Well, I estimate it will cost you 20,000 NT dollars. Oh, that's too expensive. I'm going to go someplace else. But in any case, that means the lifespan or life expectancy of people in Asia has gotten closer and closer to the life expectancy or the lifespan of people in Western countries. Okay, we're at the end of the second part of our lesson for today. Let's move on now to the third and final part.
It appears that increasing global life expectancy will result in a shift toward older societies. Therefore, policies that can sustain these aging populations will be needed.
最后第三部分看到 sustain 这个动词，指的是维持、使持续、支撑、支持，也可以是维生或是供应的意思。例如 Richard sustained himself on berries while lost in the mountains. Richard 在山中迷路时以莓果为生。再看一个例子 The village was sustained on produce from the nearby farm. 这座村庄有邻近的农场供应所需的农产品。
All right, let's wrap things up.It appears that increasing global life expectancy will result in a shift toward older societies. Okay, so it appears that as the global numbers increase, everyone is living longer now. It can result in a shift towards these societies lasting longer. So cultures and populations, they will have older people hanging around for a longer time. Okay, so this shift. And what is a shift? In this case, it's noun form, and we're basically talking about a group of things moving from one thing to another. So it is the whole trend of something changing. So in this case, it is the changing of this older society. So groups of people being able to live longer instead of dying a lot earlier or at a younger age.
Right, we're shifting from a younger society to an older society. There has been a shift, or there is a shift toward older societies. People are getting older and older. And that's, of course, the case in Japan, Korea, and here in Taiwan. And therefore, policies that can sustain these aging populations will be needed. Here, the word sustain means to support. Indeed, we're going to have more and more elderly people that will require more and more services, but fewer and fewer young people to work and pay taxes to support those programs. Okay, we're at the end of our discussion for today. Here comes Hanny.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文一开始提到，要衡量一个国家的整体健康状况，一种方式就是评估其人民的预期寿命。那文中是用到 assess 来表达评估的意思。我们来学它的字首字根。好，看到 SESS 或者是 SED、SID 或是 SIDE 这一类字根呢，就有 sit 做或者是就做的意思。那它们带有保持在某种状态的含义。在 assess 这个字当中呢，它的字首 as 来自 ad 表示朝向，字根 sess 表示坐。那么 assess 这个字的典故呢，其实是从字面意思坐在一旁来描述法官助理呢在旁边协助处理罚款或是税款的事情，主要就是要估算财产价值才知道得付多少税款，因此 assess 它就有估价或是评估评价的意思了。好，顺便补充两个有相同字根的单字。第一个是 session， 它的字首 SESS 表示做， ION 是名词字尾。那同学们可以试着想想看，什么场合需要大家坐下来呢？通常就是有开会啊、集会的时候。那么 session 这个字它就有会议、会期的意思。那它还可以指说从事某一项活动的一段时间啊，或者是一节。好，第二个补充的是 possess， 那它的字首 POS 表示具有掌控力， SESS 则表示做。那同学们也许可以用坐拥掌控权去联想到 possess 它有支配啊、持有或是占有、拥有的意思。好，课文第三部分的最后提到说，将需要能够维持这些高龄化人口的政策。那文中用到 sustain 来表达维持，我们也来学习它的字首字根。那先看到 TAIN 这个字根呢，有 hold 或者是 keep 的意思，表示保留、持有或是维持。那在 sustain 这个字当中，它的字首 SUS 表示在下方， TAIN 表示维持。那在下方维持着、支撑着，就好像是有当后盾一样嘛。也许可以用这样的方式来联想 sustain， 它表示维持、支撑、支持、维生或是供养等等。我们顺便补充几个有相同字根的单字。第一个是obtain， 它的字首 OB 是用来强调语气， TAIN 表示持有，合在一起 obtain 就可以表达取得、获得。那第二个补充的是 maintain， 它的字首 MAIN 表示手，那么 TAIN 表示维持，用手来做这个维持保养的工作，也许就可以去联想到 maintain 呢，它当动词可以指保养、维修，它也有维持、保持的意思。第三个补充的是 detain， 它的字首 DE 表示离开， TAIN 表示保留，那把要离开的人事物强留下来，也许就可以联想到 detain 它有拘留或是扣押的意思了。好，那以上今天重点整理，我们回顾今天单字吧。
Overall, our soccer team's overall performance this year has been very impressive. Assess. I need to assess the market value of the property before putting it up for sale. Advancement. Advancements in cancer treatment have allowed more and more people to survive to old age. Hygiene. Doctors say that poor hygiene is at the root of the problem. Evident. Joy's talent for piano was evident from the first time I heard her play. Estimate. Mr. Gibbs estimated that it will take him about 3 hours to complete the repairs. Shift. There has been a major shift in consumer behavior over the last few years. Sustain. Annette has worked hard to sustain her family's business during challenging times.
Discussion starter starts now.
It's time now for our discussion starter. The question is, what are some possible ways to sustain aging populations?
Well, one way might be how we grow our food. Maybe the way we grow our food to be able to feed more people. We should find new ways to do that, and that way we can feed more people and eat healthier.
Well, one way might be to raise the age of retirement. I know a lot of people won't like that idea. Hey, I've been working hard all my life. I'm looking forward to retiring and playing golf and traveling the world and getting together with my friends. But if we keep people busy past the age of 65, that might help the problem of the aging population. Sorry, but somebody's got to do the work.
Well, everyone, today's article has come to an end, and I sure hope you enjoy reading along with us. I am Kiki.
I am Roger.
See you next time.